Although I
Oh, we installed the netcode package, I guess. Alright, stream's restarted. Um,
should note one very important thing, which is make sure you're using Unity version 2021.3.10 or later. If you're using an earlier version, it won't show up over here on the package manager. For example, while researching this topic, I was testing with a project on 21.3.0, and in that version it does not.
alright, guys, we're really gonna add multiplayer. Like, we're really gonna add multiplayer. Yeah, we're really doing this.
Not show up. So do make sure you have 21.3.10 or later, or alternatively, you can also install it by selecting the path. If you go into the official multiplayer docs, over here you see the path, so com.
Hello everyone, in today's video we will talk about the netcode for game objects, the new Unity multiplayer system, and we will create a simple prototype to make you understand the foundations and the basics of this multiplayer system. So by the end of this video you will learn how to install netcode for game object, how to synchronize the movement and the animation of the players, how to create network variables and communicate them between the clients and the server, how to spawn and despawn game objects, and all those concepts will be the base foundation for creating any multiplayer game. This video is sponsored by Unity. Netcode for game object is a high-level networking library. Go briefly through the code. So we have two floats, one to control the movement speed and one for the rotation. We have a reference to the animator. Then in the update function we store the input in the horizontal and vertical floats. Then we store those in movement direction, vector 3. Then we do a translate toward the vector 3 direction. Then we rotate the player to face the direction we are moving toward. The animation to the run and responsible. It interested in learning how I create which code which a multiplayer game. So we manage package is needed. So let's search for that.
I need to get my other monitor back. I lost the cord. I don't know where I put the cord at. Bro.
And install it from the package manager. The first thing we need to do in the network manager is to choose the network transport. And
network manager. Transport, because it's not going to be a single player game.
for now we can choose the Unity transport. We keep all the values to the default values. Next we need to set the player prefab, which will be spawned each time a client connected to the server. So we click and drag the player into the prefab folder to create a prefab of it. Then
Sometimes I'm private. Player prefab, that's the way it's being. Blade. I went too fast. We need a network objects. Yep. There we go. So I should be able to, I'm just gonna do a quick little test. Network managers disappear. Alright, I'm just gonna slow down.
Then we set it as the player prefab on the network manager. But before we proceed, any item that should work with the network should have network game object.
And it's a little different for me because that's an older version.
Component, and also any prefab should be instantiated in the network should have been listed inside the network prefab list. So let's add also the player to that list. Let's hit play, and from the network manager we can click host to see that the player prefab has been.
Hi guys, I'm Bobsy. So I am the co-owner and co-developer of the Pernet networking solution, which is what I'm going to be showing. Alright, so let's go into Unity. It's from Unity, but it shut up the scene quickly. Ready up. And then up here on the little plus, I'm going to hit package from get URL, paste it in, and hit that setup. And I'm just gonna copy this link here, or you can also copy the release link. That's entirely. It's very good.
Per net.
And it might look different for you if you're new.
What is this, bro? What? I gotta do all that? What?
I got. No, the network and the computers are essentially sort of almost, I want to say, tricking each other to think that the objects are the same. But Unity. So first of all, let's set up the scene. The package. I'm going to open up Unity and I'm going to run the installation here. Cool, and I'm going to hit import.
Should I install something else?
Alright, great. Now we're going to get into the basic test scene. Let's set up the scene. What we're going to do here, and I've already just set up a super basic test scene. There's no like the ground material to cube. No, things in 0, although you really don't have to.
So I'm not doing this. Can I just get like a good tutorial?
Picture yourself in a Unity game. 2D component. To sync the rigid requires a network object. The only one we need to care about for now is the select transport dropdown. This is where we define the protocol for the data that is being communicated between the clients and the server. We will set this to Unity transport. We need to attach the network object component to the player. Every object that needs to be synced over the network requires a network object. If we want to sync its position, we create a new script called client network transform. Since netcode is server authoritative by default, we need to create a new script that inherits from network transform and sets server authoritative to false. Then we add the client network transform to the player and toggle off rotation and scale since we only care about the position. Then a network rigid body 2D component to sync the rigid body physics as well. We do the same to sync our animations by creating a new script called client network animator that inherits from network animator and overrides is server authoritative to false. Add the client network animator to the player prefab and assign the animator to false. Add the client network animator to the player prefab and assign the animator to the field. Now in the script that controls the movement of our player, we need to check that we are the owner of the script. If we're not the owner, we return out of the update function. To be able to check if we are the owner, we need to inherit from network behavior instead of mono behavior. This is what allows us to use all the network features brought to us by the netcode package. On the network manager, we can now assign our player prefab to the player prefab field. If we press play and select the network manager and click host, we can see our player get spawned to the network. And the most
Interesting. Remove this. I'm not doing all that boilerplate. Just get some multiplayer, bro. I'm not doing all that. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. I'm gonna be the new Danny, bro. I'm gonna be the new Danny, man.
to the netcode package.
Netcode.
What alignment of our field. Now in the script that assign the animator to the field.
I don't have this speed. I don't have that. Yeah, me too. I don't have network. I don't have it. I don't have it.
Add the network animator and overrides is server called network transform. Now assign network man player instead of model. To check if we are the owner, we need to inherit from network behavior.
Yeah, I don't have it, man. I'm looking back some AI real quick. I'll be back.